Welcome back to Unbox with Joe, where we talk stories on the cuff on topics we don't run away from. The podcast where we unpack real stories from real people. Whether you're tuning in from work, at home, or abroad, I'm so glad you're here. Some stories aren't just meant to be told, they're meant to be felt. And today, we're unboxing the journey of someone who has been more than just a friend to many of us. She's been a mentor, a safe space, and for some, even a second mom. We lovingly call her Mamu, but she's Bella, a teacher by heart, a trainer by profession, and a woman whose quiet strength has left a mark on everyone who's crossed her path. From her life in Nagilian and now Manila, this episode is about resilience, growth, and the kind of love that doesn't need to be loud to be felt deeply. Let's get into it. Thank you for joining us today, Mamu.
Yay! I'm so excited.
All right. I'm so excited to get to know you even more. So, what was life growing up in Nagilian?
Truth is, when I went to Nagilian, I was already in high school. Pero
Mm,
when I was growing up, I was born in Tuba, Benguet kasi,
mm,
in Philex Mines. So my first 13 years was spent in Tuba.
mm-hmm.
Nagilian, I was already a teenager then. So growing up
Okay.
in
To,
Philex,
mm-hmm,
I had to learn a lot of things dealing with, of course, the Highlanders. I
mm-hmm,
adopted their culture. I was able to learn different dialects kasi we had so many neighbors from different towns, from
mm-hmm,
Pangasinan, from La Union, halo-halo yun. And then when my father retired from Felix, we had to go down to La Union. That's when I started my second year high school in UIN, which was also
mm-hmm,
your alma mater. Then
mm-hmm.
Uslo na siya. But then it was our Union Institute of Nagilian. I can easily adopt kasi to, I'm an extro. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
get to gain friends easy. Learning Ilocano, hindi na siya mahirap kasi Ilocano na rin naman ang dialect
Mm-hmm.
namin in Tuba. So, just nice. A lot of memories.
What values or lessons from your childhood shaped you, who you are right now?
Values. I think it's generally us Filipinos kasi we are very resilient.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up with a golden spoon in my mouth. My parents had to struggle a lot for us to survive, for us
Mm-hmm.
to go to school because we are 8 siblings. So imagine I'm already the youngest.
Mm.
By then, my parents were matatanda na. So, but they still had to work because I had to go to school. And fortunately, of all of us, of all the 8 siblings, I am the only one who finished college. Oh, my brother also. So it was just the two of us. So it was really difficult. Resilience because we learned to adopt the difficult life in the highlands, knowing naman
Mm-hmm.
that my father is just a miner.
Mm-hmm.
So the salary wasn't really that off for a big family. So we learned to adjust to the challenges of life. And that's something
Mm-hmm.
that I was able to carry on until now and something that I'm also teaching my children.
Mm. And mining is actually a dangerous job. Parang you have to take a risk to even get that job, and for your dad to
Yes.
do that for a long time, that's so remarkable.
21 years. He
Oh
worked as a miner
wow.
for 21 years, yes.
Wow.
Actually, one of the pillars of, sorry to cut you off,
No, no,
he's,
okay.
he's one of the pillars of Philex mining community. Yeah, one of the parang pilot miners.
Pero ang siguro pinakamalaking gold na nakuha ni tatay is kayong mga anak and family niya. Who were the people that had the biggest impact on your early years?
Early years, my parents. Well, apart from my parents, who really worked hard for us to live the difficult life that we went through when we were there in the mining community. I'll probably talk about my sister,
Mm-hmm.
who passed away in, oh gosh, I even forgot. I was already teaching when
Mm-hmm.
when she passed away because my parents were really busy working for the family. My second eldest sister was the one who really taught me everything in school. She practically became my second mom
Mm-hmm.
because she was the one who taught me how to write, to read. She's the one attending, PTA meetings in behalf of nanay. And she was the one who taught me how to sing. So, kaya yung impact niya is really big growing up. I think a lot of the things that I was able to hone my skills because
Mm-hmm.
of her. I was able to hone my talent because of her. The way I speak English, the way I communicate with people, that's something that I've
Mm-hmm.
learned from her. Kasi siya, kahit hindi siya nakatapos ng college, kasi nga ang hirap ng buhay. My sister was really intelligent. had we had the means back then, she wanted to become a doctor. Pero
Wow.
wala eh. Alam mo yun.
Mm.
And I remember when I was in elementary, ang nagiging reference ko, kasi ang mahal bumili ng libro. My reference materials back then for my researches, for my projects, for example, were her notes.
Oh.
Yeah, so naging reference ko pa. So, siya talaga yung nag-alaga, nag-cultivate ng kung ano man yung nailalabas dating ko ng high school at saka ng college. Ayun.
Oh, that is so inspiring. What inspired you to become a teacher, Mamu?
Alam mo yung pagiging teacher, hindi talaga siya planned. Because I am a mass comm graduate ako. So, because a lot of people were saying I had good communication skills. Parang bagay nga daw sa akin maging broadcaster, newscaster, and all that. And that was the goal, to become a Jessica Soho or Corina Sanchez, sana, no? But right after graduation, I wanted to work na. And it wasn't easy getting into mass media back then. So, ang naging part-time job ko was teaching. So, I had to teach speed reading in Baguio.
Oh.
So, that was my 2-month stint in Baguio.
Mhm.
After that, nagtuloy-tuloy na yung teaching profession ko. So, and then when I went down to Nagilian again, I met Ma'am Oliva. She offered me the job in UIN. But then I was already doing part-time in another private school in Nagilian. And then Ma'am Oliva saw me teaching there, learned that I was teaching there. So I was doing part-time in Holy Infant Niño Montessori. I was doing part-time in UIN. I remember your tito, si Joshua, became one of my students during my part-time stint in UIN. And then the following year, nag-full-time na ako sa UIN. And that was 6 years of my teaching life.
I think one of the fondest memories that I had during high school was when I saw you the first time. Ikaw siguro yung pinaka-pretty na teacher na nakita ko. Like, wa-etchos yan ah. And then, like what you said, you have this way of communicating na parang iba yung impact. And I just want to let you know, and I haven't told this to anyone, when I was asked if what I wanted to take during college, I knew that you had a background in journalism. And I was so inspired of how you actually talk and teach and inspire other students na sa school. And gusto kong maging kagaya ni Mamu. Like how to be her. And during 4th year, meron kaming subject na journalism through Mamu Campusano. So parang mas lalo pa akong naengganyo kasi you're there not to be sikat, but to actually know people's story and share it to other people and be their voice. And and I remember you're also our house director, diba, during intramural. So you're doing all this. No, parang wala kang stress, wala kang sweat, parang ginagawa mo siya with all grace. I just want to be like her.
Thank
Diba?
you.
Actually, I took mass comm sa SLU as my entrance exam.
Okay.
Nakapasa ako. Pero sabi ng nanay ko, it's either you're gonna take nursing or you're not gonna go to school at all for college. Wala akong choice but to take up nursing kasi boom na boom ang nursing ngayon. I'm nursing that time eh. Meron ka pa rin bang inner desire na at one point in your life, gusto mo pa rin i-pursue yung journalism?
Yes. Pero yung drive, I think, wala na masyado. Because I've been teaching, and then right after teaching, pumasok ako sa BPO, training ulit. So parang nalinya na talaga ako sa teaching sa pagtuturo. So, yeah, but I still wanted to become a journalist, lalo na pagka ang dami mo nakakitang fake news, diba? Yung nose for news mo, andun pa rin. Yan yung term natin for journalists. You should have that nose for news. And it has to be accurate talaga. So, hindi yung pagiging marites to everything has to be based on facts. Kaya nga meron tayong investigative journalism and all that. I still wanted sometimes, minsan sinasabi ko, mag-post na lang ako. Or, kasi we have social media naman. Pero yung talagang i-pursue pa na pumasok pa sa broadcasting or sa mass media, na yung drive na yun, wala na yung drive na yun. Kasi ang hirap din ng competition ngayon. At although sabi naman nila, age is just a number. Parang sa teaching na talaga ako na teaching and training.
Oh, well, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. Wishful thinking, we never know, God's willing, diba? Yeah. How long were you in teaching and what were some high and lows of that chapter?
Highs would be kapag nakikita mo na yung mga students mo graduating, but not just graduating, landing on jobs na Oh my God, ang dami kong ganyan ngayon na estudyante. Lalayo pa ba tayo? Eto, kausap ko na, di ba? Okay, so, lagi ko sinasabi itong si Laika. Well, I call you Laika Laika pa din.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're known as Chef Joe. Um, Kasi nung estudyante kita, hindi ko nakita yan. No? I didn't see that coming. I didn't see you taking that path eh. Tapos even after my teaching job sa UIN, of course, thank God we have Facebook and all that. No?
Mhm.
I can still see you. You were joining beauty pageants here and there. So parang feeling ko talagang sa ganun ka pupunta sa mga modeling and all that. But when you went to the US and then I saw you doing culinary, doing alam mo yun, sabi ko, oh my God. And I can say you are one of my highs. And marami kayo actually. Marami akong mga naging students na okay na yung buhay ngayon,
Mhm.
you know, living well in different parts of the world. I'm just so happy and I'm just so honored to have been part of your lives. Kasi even if I wasn't the best teacher that you guys had, I was still part of it. I think that's the biggest accomplishment of any teacher.
Mhm.
The lows would be if you if if you have students. I've had students who I'm not sure didn't appreciate my way of teaching. Um, I just have one. I'm not going to mention his name, but this is a low and a high for me.
Mhm.
When I was their advisor in high school, he was one of my best students. He was my best in English. But there was an instance when he didn't like me, and he bluntly told me that. You know, when you're the advisor, you have your homeroom period, diba? Your RHGP. So
Mhm.
sometimes you discuss things with your class that are not subject related. So I was teaching them this is how you should keep the classroom clean, etc., etc., etc. I was used to speaking in straight English kasi
Mhm.
and because I was an English teacher, and we had that policy in the class before that if I am here, you should speak in English because I wanted them to really practice the language. Anyone who speaks Tagalog, you will be fined. So we
Mhm.
had that parang fundraising before. There was this one particular student who very good English speaker, and even in my class, he was nag-excel talaga. And then he told me, kasi dire-diretso yung English ko, no? Nagagalit ako eh. Getting
Mhm.
mad. When I'm getting mad, I speak in straight English. And then I say, there you go again. Dire-diretso na naman yung English mo, hindi na naiintindihan ng iba. Right after that, I had to pull him out of the class. We went to the faculty room and we had to speak in private. I didn't want to talk to
Mhm.
him there in front of the classmates. And then doon, sinabi niya talaga na hindi niya ako gusto. Masyado daw akong nagmamatalino, masyado daw akong nagmamagaling pagdating sa English. Um, that was one of my lows because I said, am I doing something wrong
Mhm.
with my way of teaching? But you know what? It became a high because he became a teacher.
Mhm.
He became a teacher overseas and now andito na siya sa Pilipinas. And at one point during our conversations, he sent me a private message and he said sorry for that event back then. Nag-sorry talaga siya. And this is gonna make me teary-eyed, no? Pero nag-sorry siya. He realized that it wasn't really easy pala to become a teacher. Kasi andun na siya. He himself is already in that position. So, he now realized what I felt at that time
Mhm.
nung ginawa niya sa akin yun. So, that was one of my highs. And now he's a very good teacher. Even now we're friends in Facebook. And he's one of my number one reactors in my posts.
Mhm.
So, we're very good friends now. And I think that is a high kasi he
Mhm.
realized even decades after that happened, he still realized that it was a mistake doing that back then.
I think a lot of people doesn't realize, hindi lang nila what do you call this? Hindi nila ma-appreciate yung ginagawa mo until they're in your shoes.
Yes. Yep, that's true.
And ewan ko kung anong iniisip niya, but for me, you're one of the best teachers I've ever had. Like, I
Thank you.
admire you from first year to fourth year, and even right now, I am so grateful that we're still connecting. You're also one of the few people na nagturo sa akin sumayaw eh. Remember the competitions that we actually
Yeah.
do? Sayaw, kanta, properly communicating. Alam mo yun, yung like, what can you ask
Rampa.
for? Rampa, di ba?
Kami ni Sir Lot. Alam mo yan,
Oh
tandem kami
yes,
dyan.
it's one of the things that I'm so grateful for during high school is having you and Lot as my instructors. I've learned so much from you, and for that I really do appreciate what you've done in my life.
Thank
Napaka
you.
colorful. So looking back, Mamu, how did being an educator prepare you for life's next steps?
Even if you are an educator, you are not
Mhm.
just there to educate. You also learn. You also learn from your learners. Eh. So me being a teacher, me being a trainer for how many years now, I've met a lot of different personalities of different ages. Lalo na when I was in the BPO. Actually, mas ako naging trainer kaysa naging teacher. In the
Mm.
teaching profession, you have a standard age bracket of people, of students you are dealing with. Them. Alam mo kung paano i-manage yun. And the fact na mas matanda ka sa kanila, alam mo
Mhm.
kung paano makipag-deal sa mga high schoolers.
Mhm.
Iba pag nasa BPO ka. Because in the BPO, you have professionals, you have
Mm.
college grads, you have college undergrads. Iba-ibang personalities talaga. So I can say, this might be a cliche, but I've already met people from different walks of life.
Mhm.
And I've learned from each and one of them. And even up to now, in my current work, I deal with different people. We have a department with different teams within that department. You deal with customer experience, you deal
Mhm.
with people in data, analytics, yan, kailangan mong kausapin, process creators. I learn from them because I know that I won't be able to train, I won't be
Mhm.
able to teach what I am training if I don't get those information from them. That's, I think, teamwork collaboration has
Mhm.
been my anchor since
Mhm.
I joined the corporate world. Talaga. You won't survive if you can't do collaboration and teamwork. Mahirap.
Yeah.
And patience, a lot of patience. Because especially in the industry that I am in now, everything is agile, everything is fast-paced, everything is changing. Kasi technology eh.
Mhm.
You know, so you have to adapt also. At my age, saan ang hirap ng, sorry, mag-50 na kasi ako next year eh. So
Kala ko
parang alam mo,
33 ka lang.
oh no. No, I'll be a golden girl na next year. So, parang ang hirap na rin mag-catch up sometimes. But thank God, I work in a company who would provide
Mm.
every single method of, or parang every single opportunity of us learning talaga.
Mhm.
So, ayun. I've learned a lot of things being an educator.
After teaching, you moved to Manila. What
Mhm.
was that shift like?
Ang laking shift doon because province to city. Before I discuss that in detail,
Mhm.
very, very short kwento lang. So
Mhm.
I grew up in Baguio, it's a city, pero we should
Mhm.
admit na medyo rural pa rin.
Mhm.
So when I was hired na in Manila, I had a few people telling me, and a few friends telling me, uy, saan ang interview mo? And then I was saying, oh, I'll be interviewed in Ayala.
Mhm.
So that's in Makati, no? So merong nagsabi sa akin, oh, when you go there, you cannot do casual clothes. Ha? Everything has to be semi-formal. So you have to be in blazer, slacks, and all that. Okay, so me being the applicant, I had to wear. Parang I was required to, and
Mhm.
I required myself to wear that na rin. Now, because this is in Manila, I didn't know the pasikot-sikot and all that.
Mm.
Hindi naman ako lumaki dito eh. So, I had to ask my sister to accompany me during my first job interview. Sabi ko sa kanya, oh ate, since sasamahan mo ako sa Ayala, kailangan magdamit ka din ng mag-blazer ka din, tsaka mag-slacks. So, yung ate ko on effort din, no? So, she had to find one din. Okay, so eto na kami. So, we had to commute, ganyan.
Mhm.
Take the MRT. So, Ayala Avenue na. So, akala ko, I really expected it to be like New York. Yung mga gano'n na talagang everything is in a corporate attire. Ma'am, tapos may makakasalubong kami, naka-shorts tsaka tsinelas. Sabi ko, yung totoo. Bakit sabi lahat ng tao dito sa Ayala nakaganon? Okay, so that was one of the big adjustments that I had to make. Naakala ko lahat ng nandito sa Manila, naka-corporate. Well, particularly in Makati. Now,
Mhm.
the shift was, hindi rin naman, I wouldn't say it's easy. I wouldn't say it's difficult naman. Because again, sabi ko naman sa'yo, I'm an extro. I easily adapt to
Mhm.
changes. And I think the city life that I had naman in Baguio helped me with that. I think the biggest adjustment that I had to adapt to is the travel time.
Mm.
Even up to now. Even especially when I had kids already. When I worked here in Manila, because I was residing in Marikina, my first job was in Quezon City, which is just malapit, very
Mhm.
adjacent. So, okay lang. May traffic and all that, but I was able to adopt.
Mm.
It was okay for me. 10 years after, because I was offered a job here in BGC, and ako, eto na, ang kalbaryo ko. And I just gave birth to Vico that time,
Mm-hmm.
my third baby. So my travel time was at max 3
Oh my
hours.
God. One way?
One way. When I go home, because my shift is 8 to 5, I leave the office at exactly 5 o'clock. I get to the terminal of because I'm a commuter, alam mo naman, ang beauty natin, commuter lang. Siguro mga 5:30, andun ako sa market. Hindi ako makakasakay agad. You have to wait. So, at most, I get a ride at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
I get home 8:30. At most 9 kapag sobrang traffic. I was breastfeeding Vico back then. So imagine the pain. Kahit naman hindi tayo gifted ng ganyan. Masakit! Sobra! Kahit pa nagbe-breast pump ako sa office. Kasi yung travel time na yun, ang dami na kasing napupus, di ba? So, I was crying. Noon sabi ko, parang hindi ako ba talaga ang Marikina to BGC? That was the biggest shift. Which, well, I've been here for more than 20 years naman na. Parang I already know if I need to be at the office at 8, I have to leave the house at 5. Kapag-adjust na. But that was the biggest adjustment. But in terms of life, biggest adjustment pa, expenses. Syempre, iba. You know, the expenses, iba dito.
Yeah.
Tuition fee, the bills and all that, iba. Ibang level.
To the highest level ba yan?
To the highest level talaga. Expenses. Lalo na ngayon, alam mo yan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mana ko.
So, Mamo, you worked in different companies like Virgin Australia, Citel, and now Globe. How did those transitions shape your confidence and growth?
The transitions kasi wasn't really huge. Virgin Australia is my account in Citel. The account that I was handling was Virgin Australia. So, and that gave me the opportunity also to go to Australia back then for training. It was a telco. So when I joined Globe, which is also a telco, it was not difficult na. The transition was smooth na lang. Kasi parang most of the processes, most of the products are basically the same. Basically the same. Meron lang mga ibang processes talaga na sobrang dali for the Australian account. But it's something that we're still learning pa lang dito sa Philippines. For example, yung SIM card registration, yung mga ganun. Pero, it wasn't difficult at all. Especially that the people I am currently working with now in Globe, when I transferred to Globe, are people I worked with also when I was in Citel. And so, a few of them.
Can you share more about your role as a functional trainer at Globe? What does your day-to-day look like?
As a functional trainer, because our customer service is outsourced, so I train the trainers of our partners. So I update them I send them cascades on updates. If we have a new promo, if we have a new process, or handling, those are things that I download to them. Sorry that I cannot disclose more of because there's competition, but that's how my day-to-day activities would look like. Of course, you check your email, meron bang bagong update, and then part of training also is updating trackers because you have people you report to. Training completion. I also certify our line trainers in our partners, so they cannot run a new hire class if they don't go through certifications through our team. So that's how things. But basically, bulk of our job or my job now is to send updates on, because I'm handling prepaid brands of the company that I work with, of Globe. So, yon. Both mobile and broadband yan yung hawak ko. So, yeah.
You're raising 3 kids on your own. What does that responsibility mean to you?
I'm happy with what I am doing because I know that I am doing it for my children. It means a lot to me. It means the world to me to be able to raise them on my own. Their father naman gives, pero alam mo naman, it doesn't suffice. It's not enough. So basically, if I am able to, like the past few years, I've been spending on their tuition fee on my own. I'm not getting any help from whoever. And that means a lot to me because, nakakaya ko. Alam mo yun? And I'm just so happy. I think the right term is blessed because despite those challenges, at the end of the school year, for example, nakatapos kami ng isang school year na tatlo. And they all go to private schools. So naman the tuition fee. The tuition fee here in Manila compared to to the provinces is times 3, times 4. So the fact that I'm able to send them to good schools, the fact that I'm able to provide their needs, the fact that I'm able to cook good food for them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so happy. The responsibility is quite huge. Doing this on your own is not easy. But I know a lot of single moms there also who were able to survive. Had to be strong. Gusto mo nang umiyak, hindi mo pwedeng ipakita sa kanila yon. Mahirap. Sobrang hirap. But I am happy that we're going through it smoothly. Broken the bank, literal, no? Alam mo yan, kasi ang dami nating expenses and all that. Pero, okay lang. Sa akin, that's pera naman. I can earn that later on pa rin naman eh. I'm working in the corporate world. I know that when I retire, I have something, maybe it's not really that huge, pero I know that meron akong fallback. So that's also the beauty of working for a stable company. The responsibility is huge, but I'm happy. I'm ready to take that on in the next few years.
Napaka-admiring talaga, Mamu, ng pagiging mom. Especially with you, 3 kids. Ako isa lang, hindi ko alam ang gagawin ko kung 3 anak ko. Hindi ko alam how you do it. Saludo ako sa'yo. The
Thank
thing
you.
about being a mom, kahit pagod na pagod ka, kahit hirap na hirap ka, wala kang choice kundi maging matatag eh. And even though nakikita ka ng mga anak mong umiiyak, that also shows na tao ka lang at the
Tao
end
ka
of the
lang.
day, di ba? And we're doing more than what we're supposed to do
Supposed
in
to be
life.
doing, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So sometimes we just have to actually give credit to ourselves. Na hindi kulang, sobra-sobra. Pero sa sitwasyon, mukhang kulang dahil ang dami mong responsibilities in one. So punong-puno yung plate mo. Moms doesn't get much credit. Pero para sa
Sometimes, yeah.
akin, yes. And I just wanna let you know, coming from a mom too, na I see you. Kung kaya ni Mamu, kaya ko din. Yeah, di ba? So, thank you for being also like, not only a mentor, but also an inspiration hanggang ngayon para sa akin. Being a mom, being, a working mom, just being you.
Thank you.
So, Mamu, what's been one of the toughest parts of parenting?
So far, yung nahirapan pa lang ako was when they were going through their teenage years. Tapos ang dami pang experiences na hindi dapat nangyari in an ideal family. Parang ang dami niyang, yung anak ko kasi ang dami niya pinagdaanan, love life, school, the relationship with the father, and I just had to absorb all that. But I guess the toughest part is kapag dumadating ka sa point na hindi mo alam kung ano yung gagawin mo para masuportahan siya, no? Parang hindi ka makatulog sa gabi dahil yung isip mo, bakit pa kailangan niyang pagdaanan lahat yon? Pahirap. Ako meron pa akong paparating. 2 na yung teenagers, meron pa akong Vico, no? Gen Alpha. Iba na namang, ibang henerasyon na. Gen Z hat, meron kang Gen X hat, tapos mag-Gen A hat ka na naman. Mommy hat ka naman later, or employee hat ka na naman. Ang dami mong hat na pinagpapalit. I think so far, based on my experience, is yung pag dumadaan sila sa teenage.
And even though minsan wala kang isasagot sa tanong ng buhay, you're there present with them. Yun yung pinaka-importante, di ba? Mo talaga. Na ano man yung pagdaanan ng mga kids mo, they know that mom will always be there for them.
If there's something really that I am proud is napalaki ko naman sila ng maayos. No? The fact that they're able to do household chores. Even na wala na kaming household help, pwede ko na silang iwan sa bahay. My Tima can cook, ate can cook, Vico will take care of the pets. Yung mga tulong-tulong sila. At the end of the day, when I get home, I'm still happy na they've done everything. I don't have to do cleaning na or washing of the dishes. Everything is done already. My eldest would always tell me, Mom, don't die yet. That's true. She's always telling me that. And they cannot imagine me being gone and then living their lives without me.
What's something your kids do or say that reminds you that you're doing a good job?
Yan sinabi ko sa'yo kanina. That they don't want me to die yet. Sabi ko, I'm not dying yet. I'm just turning 50 next year, no? So I still have to at least reach, sana, no? Ma-reach pa natin yung 80, 90. Actually, one of my greatest fears din is yung maiwan ko sila na hindi pa nila kaya on their own. The ates, I know, pero I still have Vico kasi who was just 11 years old. I guess, ang gusto ko lang sana is before, before I leave this world, established na they're on their own, that they can already survive. I know that
Mhm.
there's still things that they need from me.
Mhm.
Yung simple lang na pag-thank you nila. Every time they say thank you to me. The word thank you kasi can can sound simple, but when felt, and if it comes from the heart of the person who said that to you, iba yun. Lalo na
Mhm.
pag sa mga anak ko. Alam mo naman, ang buhay ko ngayon umiikot sa mga anak ko. So,
Mhm.
pagka sila yung nag-thank you sa akin, ibang level yun.
Mhm.
Maraming nagte-thank you sa akin, sa office, sa friends and all that. Pero pag yung mga anak ko yung nagsabi ng thank you sa akin, that's different. Sometimes it brings tears to me. Yeah. Pag sinabi nilang thank you, I know I'm doing a good job.
How do you take care of yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually?
The fact that you're talking to me and that I'm laughing now, that means I'm doing something. I think everything, emotionally, mentally, everything hinuhugot ko lang talaga sa mga anak ko eh. The fact that I want to live for them, I know I have to take care of myself. I keep myself busy, and I'm thankful. I'm really, really thankful that, again, I have a very good job. I am working with excellent people, with amazing people. I'm doing this extracurricular activity at work. Alam mo yung pagkanta-kanta, yung pag-choir ko brought me to Europe and all that. Working is tiring,
Mhm.
but the fact that it helps you veer away from your stresses and all that. So, yes, I work 8 hours a day, but I'm happy. I'm happy because kahit na nag-work ako, I still get to communicate with my children. And perks of, perks of the job, you're given free laptops and you're given free phones. Parang you get
Mhm.
to do things as a mother and as an employee. Emotionally and mentally, I think that's how I take care of myself. I think awareness din. Like, awareness na kailangan aware ka na may mga taong nakasandal sa'yo. Kasi kapag hindi ka aware, Diyos ko, mag-give in ka na lang. Parang you'll just crumble into pieces. That's
Mhm.
difficult. A lot of people are actually telling me na, after all those that you've been through, tapos nakikita pa nila, I look good, because I feel good.
Yeah.
The fact that I have the kids with me, I think that's keeping me sane and on ground. I think
Mhm.
it's all about the kids talaga. It's all about the kids. As long as you have an inspiration, that's everything's going to work smoothly.
What's something you've unboxed about yourself recently? A truth, a strength, or a hard-earned realization?
Hi, I am strong, but I'm stronger pa pala. I think with what I've been through as a child, yung difficulties namin as a family back then, na na-survive namin yon. Na, in terms of lifestyle, I was able to provide things for my children that my
Mhm.
parents were not able to provide to me before. I think that's one of the biggest accomplishments so far. O hindi lang pera to, but even the emotional support that I'm giving to my children. There are people I know na if they went through the same what do you call this, phase that I went through, bumigay na eh. Actually,
Mhm.
may iniwan ng asawa, tapos mag-isa na lang mga, di ba may mga parents pang they
Mhm.
take their lives on there. But that's something that I was able to unbox. Parang, oh, I am strong, but I'm stronger. That's probably because, again, I love my children. I'm getting inspiration from my children. I know that they need me. They still need me, and they will still be needing me. Parang self-fulfillment ko din kasi. Yes, but so I have to be strong and stronger and strongest. I have strongest mom. That's something that I was able to unbox.
What advice would you give other women who are rebuilding or reinventing themselves?
Just believe that you can do it. It starts with that faith in yourself that you will be able to go through those changes. You will be going through a lot of difficulties in life, especially if you are in the same situation like me. Stay beautiful inside and out. You have to feel good about yourself because
Mhm.
if you don't, you lose your faith in yourself also. I think those are things that a woman who's going through the same situation like me should know. Believe in yourself lang.
Mamo, if your kids were listening right now, what would you want them to hear from you?
I would also like to say thank you to them, no? Because I wouldn't be able to unbox that strength in me if I wasn't looking at them as my inspiration. My world revolves around them. I love them. I love you. Faith, Tima, and Vico, kaya natin to. Many years together pa tayo, mga anak. So, thank you.
Oh, if you could go back and talk to your 5-year-old Alma Bella, what would you
Parang boy
tell her?
abunda lang. Ito ang
Oo.
salamin. Oh. The 5-year-old me, Lala. Kasi Lala kasi yung nickname ko eh.
Yeah.
So, lalaki kang strong na babae. And you are doing a good job. You will still be doing a good job for yourself and for the people around you, and to your future kids. You will go through a lot of phases in life, but I believe and I know that you will surpass them all. You will achieve a lot of things in life and you will have a very beautiful family. Galingan mo,
Yeah.
Lala. Lumaki kang maayos.
Kailan magiging strong, kundi stronger.
Stronger and strongest.
Yes. So, if you're standing in front of a mirror right now, what would you say to yourself? A message to yourself.
No. Bella, you're doing a good job. Stay strong and stay beautiful. That's it.
What's one thing you've unboxed in your life? Something you've discovered about yourself or life that changed everything?
So in my 49 years, ito na yata yung most difficult question mo. Wait lang, iisip
And
tayo.
and that's my final question too as
Kaya
well.
nga, kaya siya most difficult, no? Okay, that I have done so many things that I have regrets about in the past. In terms of love, in terms of career. But maybe, and I believe that God placed me through that path because He knows that I will become a stronger woman. I think I have to anchor back to that strength again. Here, yes, may regrets ako sa career, but I'm still happy with what I am doing now, with my work now. Pero I guess God placed me there. And if there is something that I'm telling my kids, learn from me, learn from my mistakes, learn from the things that I have not done well. Kung meron man akong ginawang maganda, that's what I tell them to, to adopt and to copy. I have unboxed the stronger me.
Wow. Mamu, thank you so much for sharing your story with me and the rest of my listeners and subscribers. I'm grateful to have you in my life. I'm grateful to have not only a mentor, but also a friend in
Thank you.
So I've learned so much, and you're still one of my inspirations.
Oh, thank you, Laika.
And then there are those like Mamu, whose presence lingers in the best way. Whether as a teacher, a trainer, a friend, or a second mom, Bella has shown us that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply shows up day after day with open arms and an open heart. Her story reminds us that even in the middle of transitions, responsibilities, and silent battles, there are rooms for grace, growth, and love. And if you've ever felt seen, guided, or comforted by someone like Mamu, don't forget to let them know. Their impact is immeasurable. And to our listeners, if this episode inspired you or made you think of someone who might relate, don't forget to share it. And if you haven't yet, follow Unbox with Joe for more unfiltered conversation every other Wednesday. Until next time, take care and keep unboxing the real you. Thank you, Mamu.
Welcome. Thank you.